Mr. Speaker, I wish to inform Parliament on the progress made in relation to the establishment of the Office of the Accident Compensation Commission, Fiji, which is now known as ACCF, which was enacted through the Accident Compensation Act 2017. Mr. Speaker, the ACCF was primarily established to administer the compensation to persons who suffer personal injury or death as a result of a motor vehicle accident in Fiji occurring on or after 1 January 2018. Mr. Speaker, we wish to acknowledge the unwavering support of all honourable members for the endorsement of the Accident Compensation Bill, which was tabled in Parliament on 11th July 2017. It is important to note, Madam Speaker, that not a single member of the House of this Parliament opposed the bill. The unanimous support is clear demonstration of the dire need to address the long-standing challenges faced with the now repealed Motor Vehicles Third-Party Insurance Act 1948. Mr. Speaker, previously under the repeal law, motor vehicle owners were required or forced by law to go every year and obtain a third-party insurance policy from an insurance company before they could even apply for the registration of their vehicles. Despite third-party insurance being compulsory for all registered motor vehicles, a number of victims of motor vehicle accidents were precluded from receiving fair compensation. This mainly included those who became or were the victims of road accidents, such as passengers, drivers, or pedestrians. Madam Speaker, to reiterate, the exclusion provisions within the compulsory third-party insurance contracts did not provide adequate protection to all third parties who were injured from accidents involving motor vehicles, and not all insurance claims were redressed fairly in terms of timely compensation and in consideration of the welfare of the victims. As a result, Madam Speaker, some victims of motor vehicle accidents were denied compensation. For example, an innocent pedestrian hit by a car could be denied compensation by the insurance company simply because the driver of the vehicle did not hold a license or was found to be drunk driving. Claims for compensation have also been unduly delayed with insurance companies or in the courts, and the victims of motor vehicle accidents often waited for years to get compensation, and indeed some lawyers became what we call third-party insurance experts. Madam Speaker, the Accident Compensation Act 2017 intended to remedy this economic injustice. The Act established the Accident Compensation Fiji, ACCF, to provide a no-fault compensation scheme, whereby victims of accidents will be compensated without having to prove fault or negligence. The no-fault compensation scheme is intended to make a redress for motor vehicle accident victims simply by providing compensation that the victims deserve by way of application to the Commission. This is far less adversarial than the previous system and more efficient, as it saves time, cost, and lessens the impact of the trauma, both physical and psychological and emotional, suffered by the victims of accidents. Madam Speaker, following the gazetting of the Accident Compensation Act 2017, 4 complementary regulations were issued and are now in force. They are, firstly, the Accident Compensation Regulations 2017, the Accident Compensation Levies Regulations 2017, 3 Accident Compensation Medical Assessment Regulations 2017, and 4, the Accident Compensation Third-Party Insurance Regulations 2017. Madam Speaker, in fact, government had signalled its intentions to review the CTP insurance market way back in 2011. It is only a matter of time for the announcement of a regime to be unveiled, which would be a more efficient compensation scheme that protects all citizens regardless of their social and financial status. The insurance industry was made aware of the work undertaken by the government on the subject matter and was advised of the potential way forward in a meeting with the government on 13 June 2017. Indeed, Madam Speaker, the insurance industry was also invited to submit their own suggestions for the review of the law. Madam Speaker, following the enactment of the new law and based on further consultation with the general insurance industry, we noted objections of 2 particular sections of the Act by some industry stakeholders in relation to the wording of the then proposed legislation, which ultimately became the Accident Compensation Third-Party Insurance Regulations 2017. Madam Speaker, this was addressed to the regulations. Madam Speaker, the decision by this government to change the CTP insurance regime in Fiji needed to be administered in the most efficient manner, noting its impact on the thousands of vehicle owners in Fiji. And as highlighted the other day, the increase of vehicle registration on a daily basis has increased exponentially. To ensure that the ACCF was operational on 1 January 2018, as the Minister responsible for the newly passed Act, we made the following appointments to the board of the ACCF. The chairperson is the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Fiji, Mr. Arif Ali. The deputy chairperson is Sarah Jane Wild, the CEO of Tower Insurance Fiji. Mr. Ashok Patel is a member of the board, who is also board member of LTA. Dr. Iferemi Wanganimbete, a well-known surgeon also, who comes from medical practice, of course. As you know, they will be getting a lot of claims based on accidents and, of course, physical problems with the victims. And Ms. Bhavna Narayan, who is a solicitor by training. Madam Speaker, there has been some information and therefore concerns raised earlier in the week that there is a direct conflict of interest as chair of ACCF, who is also the governor of the RBF. He is also the regulator and the supervisor of financial institutions, which includes the general insurance companies. There has been comments made that the ACCF is in direct competition with the general insurance companies. Far from the truth, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the ACC Act very strongly states and very clearly states that the old Act is repealed, and the motor vehicle owners are no longer required to go and purchase compulsory third-party insurance from an insurance company. So therefore, it is not an insurance company. Any person knowing English would know that. Motor vehicle owners now pay a motor vehicle accident levy to the ACCF. Under the new Act, motor vehicle owners do not pay any insurance premium to ACCF. So therefore, no, they are not competing with the insurance companies. On the contrary, when the motor vehicle owner what the motor vehicle owner pays is a motor vehicle accident levy fixed by law. Should any person suffer any injury or death on our roads as a result of the motor vehicle accident, ACCF will compensate the victim on a no-fault basis. Therefore, Madam Speaker, there is no conflict, as there is no competition between ACCF and the general insurance companies. This is the Act that this Parliament approved unanimously in July last year with no opposition from the opposition. Of course, there is nothing preventing any insurance company from selling insurance policies, including comprehensive motor vehicle insurance policies, to cover the insured for any risk arising out of a motor vehicle accident, including property and motor vehicle damage as well as injuries or death. Indeed, the government is now a big customer of insurance companies by the very fact that we are actually leasing vehicles and therefore have comprehensive insurance. Madam Speaker, the board had advertised and recruited a CEO for a 3-year contract from January 2018. ACCF is in the process of recruiting relevant personnel with the requisite skill set based on government's open merit recruitment process. Madam Speaker, I commend the assistance and cooperation of the various stakeholder agencies in the smooth and swift establishment of the ACCF, including our Kiwi friends who helped us set up the structure in the first place. The ACCF board had endorsed the motor vehicle accident levies to be changed from 1 January 2018. The overall levies, Madam Speaker, have come down from what the insurance companies used to charge, ranging from 10 to 80% compared to the previous levies charged as CTP insurance premiums. And Chan would also know this because of the bus companies and the number of buses he has on the roads. Numerous other people who have fleets of vehicles would see the difference. Madam Speaker, the low levies underlie government's objective to ensure social justice and not to be profit-orientated. In this regard, Madam Speaker, we are pleased to highlight that in the month of January 2018, there were 13,347 motor vehicle levies paid, totaling $946,504.69 VIP that was collected. A total of 73 land transport or LTA officers in 22 branches have been assisting in this area. The ACCF head office is under construction at the LTA building in Valelevu, Nasinu, and is expected to be completed later this month. Currently, ACCF is operating out of an existing office in the LTA building in Valelevu. There are a number of benefits of establishing the ACCF office within the LTA office premises, including time and saving for vehicle owners who can get the issues addressed at one location, and of course through the branch network of LTA, and allowing for closer collaboration with the ACCF and LTA on matters of mutual interest, noting the common customer pool they serve. In other words, we want to provide a one-stop shop vehicle owners or operators. Madam Speaker, I wish to explicitly respond to the negative sentiments uttered by certain members of the public with regard to government's decision to take up the management of CTP insurance in Fiji. Notwithstanding the reasons I have outlined earlier on the limitation of the legislative framework that existed prior to 1 January 2018, the establishment of the ACCF is considered a means of providing the rights to social security, protection of the family, an adequate standard of living, including freedom from hunger, access to clean water, adequate housing, and protection of property, and mental and physical health. There are so many people in Fiji who've languished because of the fact they could not get access to third-party insurance. The implementation of the Accident Compensation Act, Madam Speaker, 2017, emphasizes the extension of social rights in light of the right of everyone to social security, including social insurance. This is entrenched under Section 37 of the Constitution, providing that, and I quote, "The state must take reasonable measures within its available resources to achieve the progressive realization of the right of every person to social security schemes, whether private or public, for their support in times of need, including a right to such support from public resources if they are unable to support themselves and their dependents." Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the no-fault scheme under the ACCF has transformed the reach and scope of providing compensation for motor vehicle accidents in Fiji. The burden of seeking legal assistance to initiate claim applications has been eased with the completion of a simple form prescribed under the Accident Compensation Regulations 2017 and submitted with all relevant information to an LTA office around the country. Subject to the submission and receipt of the required documentation, compensation claims are expected to be processed and paid within 3 months of receipt. Previously to languish in the courts for years. ACCF is taking a proactive approach in assisting those who may be entitled to compensation. Efforts have been made to contact potential applicants to create awareness of their entitlements and advising them of the process to follow. So they actively go out. They know about an accident, actively go out and see who is involved so they can help them. To date, Madam Speaker, under the new scheme, there have been 9 fatalities since 1 January 2018. And the ACCF is close to finalizing one particular claim regarding the death of a child arising from a motor vehicle accident on 2nd of February 2018. Other applicants are gathering relevant information before submitting their applications for compensation on behalf of adult deceased loved ones. This includes applying for letters of administration because there is no will to establish themselves as a personal representative for the purpose of submitting the compensation claim application to the ACCF, because we need to know who it should be paid out to. Madam Speaker, the new compensation scheme is now providing an opportunity to Fijians who would be deprived of fair compensation under the now repealed Motor Vehicle Third-Party Insurance Act. Fijians now have access to a quick compensation payment of a reasonable amount obtained with minimal cost and through a simple, streamlined administration process and of course with the absence of lawyers. It is important to highlight in this regard that of the number of fatalities so far this year, approximately half of them, Madam Speaker, would not have been entitled to any compensation under the old scheme. None whatsoever. Furthermore, unlike the insurance companies that would wait for the victims and the families to contact them, the ACCF has taken a proactive approach to contact the victims and their families with the assistance of the Fiji Police Force and members of the community. This is how it's done, Madam Speaker, overseas. If there's a fatality, if there's an accident, the police, the ACCF will coordinate with them. They'll find out who they were, who was injured, who died, and get in touch with them directly and say, look, this is your right to make a claim. This is the form. Please fill it out. And you'll get compensated. Madam Speaker, in concluding, I wish to highlight to honourable members the realization of the tangible benefits brought about by the new compensation scheme is evident from the case of the 10-year-old child who died on 2nd February 2018. Under the old CTP insurance scheme, the family of this young boy may not have been eligible for compensation given the circumstances of the accident and the burden of establishing fault. The family would have to establish fault. The payment would be made by the insurance company with deep pockets, who have big lawyers, and they drag it out through the system. The ACCF, Madam Speaker, is currently finalizing this claim for no-fault compensation payment to be made very shortly. The ACCF is trying to accelerate the finalization of the remaining compensation claim applications, and once the necessary requirements are complied with, these claims will be processed in a timely fashion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.